everybody, I'm Bulk Vanderhuge.
And I'm Flint Ironstag. Welcome to the Almost Friday show for Thursday, March 25th.
And off the press this week, we take a peek at the new Doctor Who trailer.
Dave says, kick ass, please, from the gutters.
In Tech Insight, we go mobile. Again.
Behind the lens, we're going retro. We're bringing Polaroid back, baby.
And in Lull of the Week, we take a trip over to the Mystery Science Theater.
3000.
And now off to Hunch Side Iron in Off the Press.
When I was a little girl, I dreamed of time and space. Last night, all my dreams came true.
Where do you want to start? Because this is what I do every time, every day, every second. This.
There's one thing you never put in a trap if you're smart. If you have any plans about seeing tomorrow, there's one thing you never ever put in a trap.
Me.
Hi, I'm Punch Rockgroin, and this is Bob Johnson.
Hey.
And that was the new Doctor Who trailer.
Holy crap, wasn't that awesome?
It did have some pretty cool effects, and it did look pretty impressive compared to other Doctor Who series.
Like the old ones.
Yes, like everything before it.
My favorite part is the army Dalek
Yes.
came out. I want an army green Dalek.
However, I just had this impression, like it was a bunch of teenagers running around like, shit, the world's on fire, we gotta fix something.
That's basically what Doctor Who looks like right now. The actors all being so young and stuff.
Yeah, so I'm not really sure, I kind of feel like it'd be like, these problems are above our heads, let's have a teen angst party about it. And that's gonna be like the episode, it's just teen angst parties about, oh crap, we can't save the
It's
world with
Doctor
my
Who
sonic screwdriver.
meets the OC.
Yeah, it's Dr. OC.
Oh god, that's awkward.
Either way, I think it's entertaining enough that me not being a Doctor Who fan, I might want to get into this series because I think the production values hit a point where I'm actually interested now.
Well, right now would be a really good time for for a new Doctor Who fan to jump on because they're basically like rebooting the series. So.
Yeah, so I'm assuming I won't need a whole lot of knowledge of previous seasons for it to make sense to me.
No, not really.
All right.
And if you have questions, you got the rest of us. So.
Well, that sounds pretty good then.
Yeah.
But you were overall impressed with the trailer and excited
Very,
for season
very
5?
excited.
Cool.
Comes out next weekend. Something a little bit further away is BlizzCon, which is Blizzard's annual. Well, it's annual now. It used to be every other year. So their annual convention. So just showing off all their games, all the upcoming stuff, all their past stuff, including that weird Viking game they had. Apparently, there's game consoles being played for that. But that's being announced. It's been announced for October 22nd and 23rd this year at the Anaheim Convention Center, as usual.
Okay.
No word yet on when tickets are going to be available. Probably soon, and it's probably going to be the mad rush it always is getting tickets to that, unfortunately.
But if you're a Blizzard fan, you should probably get down there.
Oh, yeah, probably, most definitely, because I think rumor has it this year they're probably going to be previewing, like doing some very late previews of Cataclysm, just because it's supposed to be coming out at the end of this year.
Is that the new expansion for World of Warcraft? For those of us who don't know what Cataclysm is?
Yeah, it's a third expansion. They're probably going to talk about Diablo 2 and StarCraft 2, since StarCraft 2 is in beta at the moment. Diablo 3, my bad. And I think Scott's pretty excited. He's giving me... Woohoo! Good job. So until they announce when tickets are going to be available, how much they are, probably in the couple $100 range like they always are. It's kind of... Sure, it's easy to get excited about this, but no tickets yet, so...
All right,
I kind of really want to go, but...
If you're a Blizzard fan and you're doing nothing those days, you should look into going down to Anaheim to check out BlizzCon 2010.
And if you have some fat cash, send it our way so we can go too.
Indeed. We're always willing to take credit to travel on behalf of you.
Oh yeah, totally. We'll cover your show. Maybe. We'll think about it. Moving on. Following the Scott Pilgrim news last week of, the awesome poster that you guys all checked out in our show notes.
I'm assuming you're also very excited about this movie.
I'm a little bit less excited because I'm not 100% sure. I'm not really into the whole Scott Pilgrim thing, but the trailer looks pretty entertaining. So there will be a link to it in our show notes. From what I've heard from the fans, it follows really closely with the book. So
okay.
That's really good. the special effects look really cool, and it looks very Edgar Wright-ish, so it really fits in with what he does, being the director of it and all.
So if anyone who is looking forward to seeing a trailer, it's out now. They should go check it out if you were excited about that book series.
Like, I'm not a fan of the book series, but that trailer, I'm probably going to be seeing it opening night. It's pretty exciting.
Cool.
Yeah.
So we've discussed before Captain America.
Many, many times.
You now know who the bad guy's going to be, but it's now been confirmed who the good guy's going to be. Looks like it will be Chris Evans, which I'm not too disappointed about. I think he's a good actor. Although he did play in Fantastic Four, which brings up some issues.
Yeah, it's going to make the Fantastic Four Avengers crossover just a little bit awkward. Maybe some funny CG stuff happening.
Yeah, well, the torch will just never, turn off. That way they won't have to see that it's the same person. Yeah.
Crafty.
Yeah.
Crafty.
It'll just always be on fire. But either way, I think it's a good choice, especially of the candidates there. I think Chris Evans and Gareth Hedlund were probably the two top choices in my opinion, but Gareth Hedlund's involved in Tron this year, so I'm not really surprised he's not involved in this one, which is also going to rock. So I'm kind of interested. I mean, I've never followed Captain America really as a superhero, but I'm pretty happy with Chris Evans as an actor. So I think he could probably do a good portrayal. He's done other comic book movies before outside of the Fantastic Four. I mean, Push was very much a comic book style movie, which
The Losers, which is either out now or coming up pretty soon.
Which he looks amazing in. I'm really excited for that movie. So I've got high hopes for him. Upholding his character as long as
he more or less looks the part. So.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. There's no confirmation, like there's no costume shots yet, so we'll see what happens. I think a lot of Captain America's character is going to be on the costume. Like if they make the costume crappy, there's not much Chris Evans can do to fix that.
Yeah, definitely. And if the director doesn't know what he's doing either, that's never a good thing.
The director is the same guy that did Wolfman.
Okay. Yeah, so I can go either way then.
Yeah.
All right. High hopes for it not being medieval times, making it therefore a better movie, hopefully. But if a dude running around saving America isn't your thing, and giant robots are, Japan's doing some crazy stuff again, it appears.
Good news! So the previous Gundam that we talked about in our audio show, that was only a temporary thing. So now that that's gone, they're rebuilding the Gundam somewhere else now. It's to be built in Shiokaze Park in Japan. It's still going to be the 59 feet tall. I don't know why they don't make it 60, but
maybe 60 is a bad number in Japanese mythology.
No, that's like 4. That's 40 generally.
Well, they probably have more than one number that's bad for them.
Oh, whatever. So what makes this even more awesome than the last Gundam is not only does this have the lights and the smoke and the moving head and like the epic music and all that stuff, it's got the laser sword. Isn't that awesome?
Laser swords are always awesome. Except if the tourists get really excited and try and run up and get burned to pieces.
Minor details. I'm pretty sure it's going to be like fenced off.
But now that they've actually given him a weapon, it's not going to take long before he just starts running amok, cutting down buildings and stuff, It seems like a good idea now, but when Japan's in ruins again and Godzilla's like, I'm out of here. Whew!
Yeah,
They just have bad luck with giant things. They should really tone down the scale of stuff. It never ends well for them.
No, I guess we'll have to see what happens when it's finally open in July.
Anyway, that about wraps up this week's edition of Off the Press.
Yep.
We'll be bringing in some other comic... I don't know.
Comic goodness?
Yes, comic goodness.
Rated R comic goodness this week.
In this week's From the Gutters.
Hello, I'm Big McLarge Hughes, and this is Thick McRunfast.
Hello.
And this week we're going to be reviewing Kick-Ass.
Kick-Ass.
All right. Kick-Ass is written by Mark Miller and illustrated by John Romita Jr. Neither of them are new to comic books, but people have varied opinions about Mark Miller, and people have varied opinions about John Romita Jr., and I am one of these people who shares the mixed feelings some people have. The rundown for the story is, why hasn't anyone become a superhero? Of all the comic book fans out there, as much as people have fantasized to become superheroes, how come no one has gone out and given it a shot?
Tony Stark has. So is Batman.
So there's this kid who buys himself a scuba suit
Off of eBay.
Off of eBay, and says, I'm doing it. I'm going to go out and do it. And he started off by sort of walking around on some walls and stuff like that, and wore it around to school. And eventually he goes out and tries to take on the life of a superhero in that he would go out and stop crime using violent means.
The first time he does it, it goes horribly, horribly wrong.
He ends up in a hospital for ages.
Yeah, like
And,
6 months or something, he says.
Actually, not even 6 months, so that was unrealistic on top of it. I don't know what to say about this book because I'm trying to be as fair as I can. Sorry, I should go on with the rundown. After he gets hospitalized, he says, I'm never going to do this again. And then he's like, who am I kidding? It was in my system. I'm going to go and do it
He
again.
promptly goes to do
Yeah.
it like 2 weeks later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he gets another costume, assuming it was off of eBay again.
Yeah, that was never really explained.
No, they don't. No.
Minor details.
And where he got the money, I have no idea.
Where you got the credit card.
He goes out and he runs into Hit Girl and Big Daddy, portrayed in the movie by Big Daddy's played by Nicolas Cage, and Hit Girl is played by some little girl. And they all go through their various little things. Hit Girl and Big Daddy go off and do their adventure. Our friend Kick-Ass, the main character, meets up with this other character named Red Mist, and they have sort of a team thing going. Mostly just sort of drive around and talk about superhero stuff that no one...
That 16-year-olds would talk about, I guess.
Yeah. All in all, okay, now the writing, okay, the art. John Romita Jr. I really like his work on some things. I think it suited this storytelling well. He is a very good visual storyteller. There's some things like I don't think he belongs on books like Wolverine. I think he definitely belongs on books like Spider-Man. I think he may have the longest running stint as an illustrator on Spider-Man. It suited this book well. And really for someone who has experience with illustrating, composing a panel, composing a page, telling a story, there aren't many people who can really rank as high and as experienced as John Romita Jr. And this has become an issue in comics lately, he also finishes a book on time. He can produce a 22-page book on a schedule. That has not been happening with Kick-Ass, but that's because there are various other things holding up the whole project.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? The writing, Mark Miller. I don't know if I'm having trouble separating the art from the artist. I find Mark Miller to be terribly arrogant, and I find that comes across very well
Oh, yeah.
in his books. What did you think? All in all, what did you think of this book?
I absolutely loved it. I absolutely loved it like the way I absolutely love action movies. You know, it doesn't make much sense. It's not very good story-wise. You know, it's like it's no Godfather or like. You know,
They're not pushing back any boundaries beyond violence. I would
Exactly.
say.
It's a popcorn movie for me. You know, it's a popcorn novel. I read this, I'm like, oh yeah, she's totally like chopped that guy's head off. That's awesome. And I've heard a lot of people say that the fact that these guys are kids and it's like a 10-year-old girl getting shot, oh my God. I'm like, yeah, whatever, it's a 10-year-old girl getting shot. That doesn't bother me. Like, how it really bothers some people, but it's mostly older people who have kids, so, you know.
For me, I read this book. I didn't enjoy it. Now, you have to take, in my defense, you have to bear in mind the context of the time. This book came out, you know, in the era of Wanted and all of these other books where it was extreme for the sake of being extreme.
Oh, okay.
And this was just more, you know what, hey, we got blood, we're showing guts, we're having kids swear. It's stuff that, it wasn't shocking anymore, and it was, for me, barely interesting.
Oh.
The flow was great, though. The writing, in terms of the flow of the writing, the flow was really good.
It clipped along really quickly.
I
think I read this in like 2 sittings, mostly because like, oh, this is awesome, I can't put it down.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, it's absolutely a one sitting reading. and that isn't just because there aren't too many words. It is spare on words, but it is not, I wouldn't call it a deconstructed book.
It gets the job done.
Absolutely,
Like
absolutely. It tells the story.
It fits. It's not too wordy, and there's not too many pages of just fighting.
Yeah.
It's good.
Technically, I enjoyed this book. All in all, though, I was not wowed by it. I'm going to give Kick-Ass a C-. I will, however, put a little addendum to that. I have not actually met anyone yet who didn't enjoy this book, other than me. I met myself this morning. It was weird. It was awkward. I had my shirt on backwards.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah.
Anyway, what would you say?
Maybe.
To sum it up.
To sum it up, I would maybe give this a B. B minus, somewhere hovering around there.
Okay.
It's because it's an action movie, you know.
Okay, action movie, action comic.
It's not going to win any Oscars, put it that way.
Okay. Well, you've heard it from me and Thick McRunfast this week on From the Gutters.
Hey everybody, I'm Rip Steakface.
I'm Blast Hard Cheese.
And I'm Buck Plank Chest, and it's Tech Insight. We're going mobile again this week, because we like to do that.
It's true, we do.
Phones, it's the big phone conference, CTIA.
We get nerdy about phones.
Yeah, it happens. They're cool, they're new, and they're pretty much the flashiest things that come out these days.
And they're shiny.
For Canadians, which is us, specifically Ottawans, because we're based in
also
Ottawa,
us.
which is also us. Wind Mobile is launching. So they launched earlier this year.
Yeah, they have a base station in Toronto and in Edmonton.
Edmonton. Okay.
And so they were planning on bringing out a base station here in Ottawa.
And Calgary. I think they're launching around the same time.
Yeah, Calgary has something as well.
Yep.
So it is supposedly starting as of Friday this week.
Awesome.
Which is pretty cool, because we thought that they sort of had it as a summer development thing, so I think they're a little bit ahead of the curve, which is really good, because we all wanted to see them get here. I mean, we like competition to the big three, because realistically, Wind Mobile's prices are amazing.
They do basically everything's unlimited. Is their platform.
Yeah, and that's true. Like, even if you have a smartphone, you can get a data plan with their unlimited plan. It's $85 for the entire thing, but that literally is unlimited everything.
Yeah.
Unlimited outgoing across Canada, unlimited text messaging, unlimited data. So it's a really good plan. Again, no system access fees, no contracts, and you can bring your own phone over if you've got a GSM phone.
Although it should be noted that if you're going to buy a phone with them, since there's no contract, they say they don't subsidize at all, but they do.
Yeah.
Because they don't have the MSRP prices for the phones. Like if you buy the same phone non-contract off Bell or Rogers or something, they'll charge you like $600. Like for example, the BlackBerry Bold 9700.
Whereas you're going to pay about $450 with Wind Mobile.
Which is actually pretty reasonable considering you have the flexibility to say, you know what, Wind, I'm done with you. I'm going to go over to X.
And keep your phone.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it should be noted that you will pay a lot more for your phone because they don't subsidize their handset.
Yeah.
So it's beneficial if you already have a GSM phone that you can move over with. Sure. But if you don't, you are getting a pretty good discount on their phones, which buy them outright.
And rumor has it they're trying to bring the Nexus 1 to Canada, like
Verizon.
Like how Verizon has it in the States, but I don't know if Wind is going to have stores. Well, they're going to have stores.
They have stores.
Okay, so I'm not sure if they're going to bring it to
The thing is,
stores,
I don't know if
or-
they have the pull to make Google actually do that.
Exactly.
Well,
'cause
the thing is
Verizon's not doing that at the moment.
They're
so-
partnering with Blockbuster, much like how Rogers sells cell phones out of
okay.
their video stores.
Yeah.
So with Blockbuster as a backer, although Blockbuster's been in a little bit of money troubles recently, that does mean it's a bigger company potentially supporting this potentially smaller company.
Yeah.
So there could be some push there to be able to bring in some other phones as well, but we'll have to wait
We'll
and
have
see.
to wait
Yeah.
and see. Yeah. Right now, they have a few basic phones and some Blackberries.
Yeah. I think they have four phones available plus a 3G stick.
Yeah,
More or less.
which is really awesome that they have the 3G stick because, bam, there's your unlimited data on the go, and I'm pretty sure it's comparable or less to a Rogers. Especially if you know what, hands down, it's better. It's unlimited. Everyone else has like a 5-6 gig cap.
Yeah, it's $35 specifically for their data plan that's unlimited. And
Oh, wow.
although that's a little bit more per month than, say, like the 6 gig plan, if you caught it at the right time on Rogers,
Yeah.
it's $5 more. Again, there's no system access fee and there's no contract,
Is it
so
unlimited or unlimited?
Unlimited.
unlimited.
Okay.
Yeah,
This is not America,
Valid argument, Scott.
where they all have, yeah, it's unlimited until we decide to start throttling.
It's unlimited until 5 gigs.
But speaking of things throttling stuff, CRTC has decided that they'd like to charge us a little bit more for local content.
Okay, so what has happened is everyone in Canada has been watching these local TV Matters ads that have come out now. All the cable networks like CTV and CBC and 8 Channel have all bundled together, which is weird because they're direct competitors.
Does it apply to the CBC?
Yes,
Okay.
everyone.
Okay, cool.
Come together because it's a regulated market, so
Okay.
CBC can't get preferential treatment because they're a Crown Corp.
Fair enough.
Bundled together to make these ads saying, local TV, because everyone, they operate local stations like CJOH here in Ottawa, which is CTV Ottawa now, or you have CBC Ottawa, CBC Montreal. I mean, they look like big networks, but they're actually the specific local newsroom for that city. And they're also in smaller towns out in the east, the west, all over the country pretty
The
much.
branches of the bigger
Yeah.
networks then.
So basically, the CRTC finally laid down a decision saying to the cable networks, you're going to have to negotiate with these guys if they want to charge you for their local feeds. So if I'm sitting in Ottawa and I want to watch CTV Ottawa and get my local news at night, that's a local feed. Now that's broadcast in the air for free if I had bunny ears. But if I want to watch that on my TV, basically what's happening right now is the cable companies are just sticking up an aerial.
Yeah.
More or less. I mean, it's not exactly like that, but taking the free signal and broadcasting it out and selling it. So the CRTC has said that the companies who make that signal, all the local broadcasters, can go out and say, you got to pay for that. And that's now, but they have to bargain. I mean, it's not very set in stone. So the CRTC kind of came out with a decision. So basically what they're saying this is going to end up in is more money for your local news because it's going to get funded directly from cable subscribers. But who's going to foot the bill? Cable and satellite subscribers.
Yeah, unfortunately, big companies that they are don't really want to pick up the bill for it, although realistically they really should be, as they make $2.3 billion per year. But nonetheless, they're probably going to pass on that additional fee down to its users,
Which,
probably
I mean,
making them even more money in the long run.
The thing is, they've been making money off these free signals for so long. Now, I don't really want to take a side here, but I usually don't side with the cable companies because they make tons of money, and to be honest, we overpay for the service.
Absolutely.
Totally.
But all of that aside, they've been making money off selling you these local channels for years. Like I have CBC Ottawa, CBC Montreal, CBC Halifax. I have like half the local channels from across
me
the
too.
country, and I had to pay for the time shifting package.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. You're giving me extra channels, but you're not paying for half of those channels.
Right.
So, I mean, at the end of the day, you're making money off me for something that you're getting for free or almost nothing.
And now you want to turn around and charge us for it, which doesn't really
It
seem
doesn't.
to sit
It doesn't
well
make
with anybody.
sense. I mean, I don't think it's going to end up being a large charge.
Well, from
But
what I've heard, it
still.
could be anywhere from $1 up to about $10.
I mean, it's going to depend on your provider, the networks you want.
Yeah.
It might change the way you buy your cable.
Possibly.
Like maybe I won't be getting all these different channels anymore because I don't need to watch Halifax news.
Yeah, I mean that's ultimately it. I don't think a lot of these channels, unfortunately, are worth paying an extra $5-10 a month for.
definitely not.
And it's sort of it's sort of sad because on one hand I want to support local television,
Yeah.
but on the other hand I don't feel like I should have to pay Rogers or Bell to support them for me.
Definitely, like what I was discussing with Rip before the show, we were saying, well, you know what, I'd just stop paying for all those channels and just stick up an antenna. I mean, sooner or later,
Well,
they're going to have
this is-
HD antennas in our area because Canada sucks at that.
This is
It's
like
separate
this is
issue.
terrible timing for something like this because now with the internet, and I'm just going to use CBC as an example, just because their content is.
They're pretty up there on
Yes,
the internet.
their content's so well done on the internet. What's stopping me from going on the CBC and like streaming the Ottawa newscast? Because I can do that.
And you can actually do that with CTV
with
as well.
CTV also. So this is like
other-
if this happened like maybe 5-10 years ago, it'd still
be
be
a big
really
deal.
annoying, but not as annoying.
You wouldn't have as much of a choice.
Exactly, you wouldn't have much of a
Yeah.
choice. Now it's like, okay, well, I'll stop paying for my cable and just watch everything like on ctv.com or cbc.com.
And I think the really unfortunate thing here is the amount of people who aren't going to do that because they're just so used to doing it this way. And they're like, it's a few extra dollars.
Yeah, and honestly, most people that are buying the big cable packages anyway probably won't notice the $1 to $10
No,
on their
yeah.
cable bill. So
Unfortunately, the other catch is as much as suggesting putting up an aerial might be a good idea, the problem is if Rogers or Bell decides that you have to buy all your basic cable packages just to get the rest of their packages, they could be like, well, you don't get, channels 100 up unless you get channels 100 down.
Yeah.
And so you might be forced, if
Which-
you want
They're
digital
basically-
cable at all,
they're doing that
satellite
already
or
now.
otherwise.
I would expect that.
Yeah.
Because that's how it's packaged currently. So they'd probably just throw the charge on saying, look, you're getting these local channels. Like, I know with Bell, I don't know how Rogers is packaged, but Bell gives you the basic digital package, and that has every network in the country pretty much.
well, Rogers is basically already doing that now, just with the specialty channels. Like, well, I can't get the Science Channel without buying National Geographic, the Animal Planet, and like
Oh, see,
5 other like.
Bell's a little better. You can
So-
pick and choose channels. Not all of the channels.
Yeah, Rogers like that too, but it's more expensive, and you can't choose all of them. It's like, but
Yeah.
I just want the Science
It's
Channel.
like
Why
I pay
can't
for
choose
just
it?
Tech TV, but I can't buy just National Geographic.
Exactly.
Which is a completely. We could go on about this forever because we really get.
And it doesn't help
Hosed
that,
about
that
it,
we
but-
watch a lot of
but-
very niche TV.
Yeah,
So.
but the thing I really want to stress here is that the CRTC is supposed to be the regulating body, and they've come out with a wishy-washy decision.
Yeah.
They didn't come out on either side. They said, okay, yeah, you're entitled to some money for that, but only if you want to work for it.
They've basically come up with, all right, we've opened up the gate for you guys to talk about it. You talk about it, come back to us, and
But-
we'll see what happens.
But the thing is, they don't even have to go back to the CRTC with their this is company-to-company decisions. Every network could charge something different, and then you're not going to know what CBC's charging Rogers for their Halifax channel and what CBC's charging Rogers for their Ottawa or Toronto feed.
Yeah.
And then they're just going to blend that down into one big charge. I mean, probably legally they're binded to not charge you more, but that can be hidden really easily if it's, if Vancouver costs them this much and they wind that in, because they can't charge different people different amounts
Yeah.
for the same channels.
Needless to say, you should probably keep your ear to the ground and pay attention to
For sure.
your cable bill as things might change in the near future.
I wouldn't, don't see too quick, but it'll definitely come maybe the end of the year, next year for sure.
Yeah, I've heard probably change is going to happen from a year to a year and a half
Yeah.
from now. So.
And moving back to more exciting news, a little less depressing, although not for Canadians.
Unfortunately.
Sprint in the States has had a 4G network since 2008, which I didn't know, which is a little bit impressive. They're running a WiMAX 3G network. Now, that's one of the two kinds of 4G. One of the two kinds of 4G. There's LTE, which stands for long-term evolution. I don't know what that's about. And WiMAX. So they're launching the HTC Evo 4G. Pictured here, it looks gorgeous.
It's
Yeah,
pretty.
definitely.
Very similar in make to the HD2,
Yes.
physically. Inside, not so much.
No, and from the outside, the big change is it's got one of the biggest screens in the class.
It's
It's a
huge.
4.3-inch screen,
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
whereas everything thus far has been about 3.7,
Yeah.
4-inch top. So it's bigger than everybody.
Do you know what type of screen it is? Like the OLED?
It's not.
Or...
I
It's
haven't-
not
Is
OLED.
it, is this the one that's like super AMOLED or whatever?
No,
I think it's just a
I think it's
regular.
a- yeah.
I think it might be LED, but I'm not entirely or not LED.
it wouldn't
but-
surprise me. It's not OLED. I know that for sure. They would have stressed the heck
that's
out of that. So it's a 4G phone, which is awesome. It's the first one announced in the Western world. I wouldn't
Western
surprise
world?
me. It wouldn't surprise me at all if Japan has had 4G for years.
Probably.
It's
Japan,
really
Korea.
hard to follow that stuff because we over here don't care because we're never getting anything.
And
yet.
because most of those news sites are in Japanese.
And we don't speak Japanese as much as we'd like to.
So I'm going to give you a quick hardware rundown of that really awesome looking device. So it is a 4G on WiMAX, which means it's doing all its voice communications over CDMA. So that's the only reason I'm not super giddy about this phone is everyone has switched over to GSM in
Yeah.
Canada. CDMA is kind of no one uses it anywhere except for the States and Canada and a few places in Europe, not many. So that's a little bizarre, but Sprint's a CDMA network.
Yeah.
They went with WiMAX. This phone's for Sprint.
Probably
it's a Sprint
in a
branded
year
phone.
or so, the GSM will come
It's
out.
just a matter of changing the antenna.
Yeah, so probably about a year.
So For this particular model, it's a bit of a letdown.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you're on WiMAX, it doesn't matter. That stuff's screaming. And it does allow you to use EVDO Rev 3G, which is Sprint's existing 3G network. As a 1 gigahertz Snapdragon processor, that's the same as in the Nexus 1.
Mm-hmm.
And 512 of RAM, which is also the same as the Nexus 1.
Yeah. Which is, you're going to see a lot of that because it's a platform for the Android operating system.
Yeah.
So you're going to see...
And it's a good benchmark to have these phones at right now. I mean,
Yeah.
extra power isn't necessarily going to gain a whole lot of traction at this
No,
point.
I don't think Android can really take too much advantage of anything else
Yeah.
at this moment. There's no physical keyboard. It doesn't have a slide out or anything like that.
Which I prefer because it keeps the overall thickness of the phone down a little bit. And because it is a bigger screen, it's a bigger phone for sure.
And I've seen some screenshots of the virtual keyboard. It actually looks quite nice.
Oh, good. So it's not...
It's different-ish than the Droids. It's obviously bigger. It's on a bigger screen, but it looks like a squared-out iPhone keyboard, is what it reminded me of compared to other Android keyboards I've used.
Yeah, the one on the Milestone, I find, even for me, it's really cramped.
Yeah.
So maybe on the larger screen it'll be better.
Good for a physical keyboard. It has a gig of built-in storage off the shelf, and it has a micro SD slot, which is really the way all phones should be made. In my opinion,
More phones are headed that way now.
it makes a lot more. Well, I'm an old school computer guy, so I like to have everything modular.
Yeah, well...
Yeah,
I guess
mean,
it comes down to opinion.
Yeah, because I find, if it came with an 8 or a 16 gig internal drive, I really think that's sufficient for almost all users. I mean, you're going to have a small segment of people that are going to say, oh, I need more space than that, but honestly, those people will buy a phone with micro SD slot.
True.
I guess. I think it's a nice feature to have. I think not having it is laziness.
Fair
Really. Guys, I mean, it doesn't hurt them to not to
Even
to
a lot
do
of
it,
dumb
so-
phones have micro SD slots.
Yeah, well, that's for ringtones and stuff.
Ringtones.
The really cool thing that makes this phone pretty unique, people have been asking for this for a while, which I don't personally understand, but it has an 8 megapixel camera on the back with an LED flash. Pretty standard, little higher megapixels than we're used to seeing.
But it has a 1.3 megapixel front-facing camera, which, if they're making use of the 4G network, allows them to do video conferencing through the phone, which is pretty cool. And we're starting to see phones go that way, especially with higher bandwidth networks like this one.
I don't know how cool video calling is going to be. I don't know if you want to do this.
Yeah,
but
video calling is going to be cool until someone does this. Oh yeah, hey Bob, how's it? Whoa. That's how it's going to happen, right?
And or, the WiMAX network explodes because
Everyone's video calling everyone
3G is
else.
more than fast enough to do video calling.
Yeah.
And it just couldn't do it. So that's a really cool, unique feature. We've also got BG Wi-Fi, no N. I don't think that's really a big matter when you're on WiMAX, but that's okay. And the coolest part, it's got HDMI out. It's a really big video focus on this phone.
Yeah.
Big screen, 2 cameras, and a kickstand.
Woohoo!
Pictured here, that's awesome. So you can just set it up and watch a show.
And that kickstand works in, I believe, both a horizontal and vertical scenario, I think.
Oh, so it probably
From the pictures, it looks like based on its location lower down on the phone, it might also work standing up, although I'm not 100% sure on that. At the very least, so you can watch your nice widescreen movies without having to hold your hand or prop it up against stuff.
Which is nice, because I've propped up my iPhone like 500,000
Although stand
yeah.
makers everywhere are screaming out in terror because they've just lost that ability.
So really quick, just go through the rest of the specs. It is running the Sense UI, which we've seen and talked about a bunch of times. It is running it natively. It's not a hack like you can possibly do on the Droid and other Android phones. It's running Android 2.1. Which is the latest rev. That's the same Android that came shipped on the Nexus 1. And right now, for the Americans watching, currently WiMAX is offered in 27 markets, but it's missing major cities like New York and Washington, D.C. and San Francisco. But Sprint's promising to roll out to most of these major areas in 2010. So the phone's not shipping till halfway through this year.
Oh yeah, summer this year.
Yeah, so I would imagine it'll get better as it goes. It's just like when 3G came out.
Yeah.
Very similar.
And really quick to wrap up Tech Insight this week, we have a little bit more news that the Courier is probably on its way. A job posting on Microsoft this week stated they were looking for someone who knew stuff about the Microsoft Courier, more or less, and was interested in that kind of technology. So it was sort of an official statement that may or may not exist.
Well, so what happened was it was actually in a jobs magazine.
It's like a job posting.
And it dropped like Internet Explorer 9, which is the new Internet Explorer version.
Yeah.
It dropped Courier, and then got very swiftly pulled.
Yes.
So it had a few other names of credible Microsoft products that we know exist. I mean, IE9's in beta.
Yeah.
And then swiftly got pulled.
there were sort of two sides to the story. That one, they were looking for someone who was legitimately interested in it, and the other side of the story was they were just trying to sort of hype and buzz those technologies as well, looking for someone who follows the latest current trending topics for that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
so,
it was up on Jobs blog, and it talked about the upcoming Courier digital journal. It also dropped Bing Maps, PhotoSynth, Project Natal, Cloud Services, Windows Phone 7 series.
Yeah.
So,
not a confirmation, but there's still that light at the tunnel that it's definitely coming. So we'll keep you updated when we know more. But otherwise, that's it this week in Tech Insight.
and coming up next, we're going behind the lens. Hey, I'm Splint Chest Hair. This is Slate Fist Crunch, and we're coming to you from behind the lens. What are we talking about?
So this week, Photoshop came out with, or I should say Adobe came out with, a new tool that they haven't introduced yet, but might be introducing into CS5, which is supposed to be coming out in late April, I believe.
Yeah.
It's called Content Aware Fill, and it's going to make all of us Photoshop professionals out of work.
To turn that around, does it mean I can start using Photoshop?
Yes. Although you still have to figure out how to use the tool.
That's true.
Currently in Photoshop, when you're editing something and want to take a tree or a person out of the picture, you have to use a combination of spot healing and patching and things like that to basically blend the background that was there to make it look like it wasn't there. Now, you run into problems when you're dealing with objects that go from shadows into brightness and things like that. It's hard to get those lines accurate. So basically what they've designed is this thing called Content-Aware Healing, which allows you to sort of run your mouse over stuff, and magically it uses mathematics, and all of a sudden that's gone, and the background is like it's supposed to be. And it's, I don't understand it, and I can't explain it to you. I'm going to show you a really small clip here of you're really recommended to go watch the whole video because the first part explains what it's doing, and the clip I'm going to show you just shows you what it could do. In the little clip here, he's basically going to edit out a road from a scene in the desert. Like, he's just going to select the road, and then the road is gone, and there's desert in its place, and it doesn't make any sense. But it works because they're just doing this in Photoshop. So this is the clip.
Example of what we could do here. Here's another image. This one for a website. And they like the wide format of the image, but they've asked us for an image with and without the road. Now, of course, we don't have that. We only have the road that we drove out on. But let's see what Content-Aware Fill can give us. Hopefully a starting point where we just have desert, and then we can go back and tune that up a little bit. So we're just going to let it chew through that road and put a desert over there. Excellent. Great start. In fact, looks really, really nice. We'll just go around and touch that up a bit, and we'd be done.
So needless to say, that was pretty ridiculous.
That was pretty crazy.
Yeah. So go watch the whole video, and you can see just what it's capable of doing. I'm excited for it because it will definitely cut down on the time I have to edit.
Yeah.
But I do feel like it's going to take away some of the power of us Photoshop artists to actually do really crazy stuff that people go, how'd you do that?
I won't have to call this guy to get stuff done in Photoshop anymore.
Well, you still have to get Photoshop.
I have my ways.
Anyway, also this week, there's a company called The Impossible Project, who we've talked about before. Polaroid, as a lot of you might know, stopped existing about 2 years ago in most formats. And the Impossible Project sort of took on the most common type of Polaroid film that's used in all those really generic Polaroid snap cameras, and decided that they were going to take the patents for it. They bought out the patents for it, and they were going to start producing their own film so that all of you diehard Polaroid fans could use it again. So I believe available as of last week is the new PX package that they've come out with from the Impossible Project.
Okay.
It's a pack of 8 black and white. They're just doing black and white right now, not color. Pack of 8 black and white negatives that you can get, that you can use in your Polaroid camera. It's European right now because they're based out of Europe. I think you can probably get it overseas. They'll probably ship it, but it's about 18 euros for the pack of 8. So it's still pretty expensive to print with. Now, the thing is, it was cheaper to print with Polaroid because they were a bigger company. They were mass producing this stuff. This is on a smaller scale, so you are going to pay. You're going to pay the cost for it being on a smaller scale.
Mind you, at the same time, if you're going to be the kind of person who owns the Polaroid camera still and wants to go out there and use it, I imagine you wouldn't mind.
Yeah, it's really for the diehard Polaroid fans that really want to get back into shooting that film, but you're going to want to be careful about what you take pictures with because it is going to cost a lot. No word yet on a color film, but I know they're working on it. Release date, don't really know when.
Now, when Polaroid went out of business, they sold off all their plants and things. Did they pick up?
Well, Polaroid themselves are not really out of business. They still make some digital cameras, and they still make certain types of of digital film, or not digital film, but film for 4x5 cameras and stuff like that. Just the really common formats that the point-and-shoot Polaroid cameras were using, they stopped producing because they weren't getting enough product through. Because unfortunately, as much as a lot of people love Polaroid, it's still a very, very small percentage. Less than 5% of the population really actively wants to shoot with that stuff. So they stopped production of a lot of the major film types, except for what was being used professionally in studios.
So these guys basically bought the patents and built their own stuff from the ground up?
More or less, yeah. So I have a camera to review this week. It is the Panasonic ZS7. It's a brand new camera in Panasonic's lineup. This guy's pretty feature packed. It's got a 12 times optical zoom, but it also boasts a 16 times intelligent zoom, is what Panasonic calls it now.
Which is basically a souped-up digital zoom kind of thing?
More or less. It's sort of like optical, it's sort of like using digital zoom, except they're using in-camera processing to allow you to get those 4 times digital zoom without really losing any picture quality that would normally be attributed to using digital zoom. So it's pretty safe to say that you can go all the way to the 16, still get your 12 megapixels, and really not see that much more of a breakdown of the image. So it's nice, because I'm really calling it a 16 times camera at this point, because you really can't tell the difference between 12 and 16 as far as image quality. You do get a nice big 3-inch screen on the back, which is something Panasonic likes to do on a lot of their cameras. As well, like most Panasonic lenses, it's wide angle, this guy being 25 millimeters, so it sees very wide. A first for this generation, or this type of camera, they've had the TZ series, which became the ZS series for quite some time. And this is the first one of the lineup that has added manual controls, so you can set shutter speed and set aperture on this one, which you previously couldn't do, which really puts it in a whole other league, because previously it was just a feature-packed camera that was sort of,
point and shoot,
it was an idiot
level,
camera to just point and shoot. But now that you got 16 times zoom and a 25 mil wide angle, the fact that you can set your shutter speed and everything manually is an extra little feature to make the camera do a bit more. As well, it's shooting 720p high definition video, AVC HD. You can see on the top here that there's a left and right speaker for it, or microphone I should say, so it's recording stereo. As well, you've got this great little box right here which says GPS on it, because this guy's got an embedded GPS chip. Now, we sort of thought that a lot of the cameras were going to move away from this sort of thing, but Panasonic decided to bring it back, and I think it really complements this camera because overall it's a great travel camera, from the fact that it's wide angle, it's great zoom, big screen, and a relatively compact size. I mean, you can see it's not very thick, and when you close the lens, it still gets pretty small. So overall, it's a pretty compact camera. So for someone traveling, that GPS chip being built in is going to be great, because it allows them to have their photos tagged as they're traveling across, Europe or anything like that. So it's an additional feature that I think is welcome on this camera specifically. I don't think it's needed on every camera, but when you get up to this guy, all the other features, it's just something that
it seems like cherry on top kind of thing. It's very feature rich to begin with. So.
Definitely. This guy's retailing right now for $449 Canadian. So good price point. I mean, it is on the top end, but you're getting everything.
It's feature packed. I mean, it's got with the GPS too. I mean, that really lowers my expectation for price.
Yeah. Lithium-ion battery and SD cards. I believe this guy is supporting SDXC. Yes, it is supporting SDXC, so
which is nice to
you
hear.
can put ridiculously sized cards in there if you want to shoot a lot of video. As well, some cameras will not zoom during video. This guy does, so that's also a nice feature. So I'd give it probably I'd give it a 4 out of 5. I'd like to see a little bit more optical zoom, but otherwise I think it's a pretty solid camera. And if you are looking for a travel camera, hands down, this is a really good one to think about. So that's my review of the Panasonic ZS7.
Okay, that's it for Behind the Lens today. We're moving on to the grand finale. It's the lull of the week.
And we actually have an intro segment this time. I'm Slab Squat Thrust.
And I'm Blast Thickneck.
And you might be wondering why we've all had ridiculous names this show. Well, that brings us to this week's Lull of the Week. You might have heard of a great group of guys. They're called Mystery Science Theater 3000.
It's so funny. If you haven't seen it, really, YouTube, put it into YouTube, see some of the clips. You'll see that you have to see the whole thing.
So what is it that these guys do?
They watch a movie, a really horrible B movie, and then they write their own script to it as though they're talking during a movie, like being little pricks in front of the theater that you want to throw popcorn at. Except that they're really funny. And then there's 2 robots, their characters that they use, and then there's sort of an ongoing storyline in the whole series of movies. It's so funny hearing their comments. Tonight we have picked from a movie that I think is the best one that they have ever made comments on.
Space
Mutiny.
So all the names you've heard are names that they decided to give to David Ryder. So the scene you're about to see is about 1 minute and 20 seconds. We'll play the whole scene for you guys because it's kind of short. Of all the names David Ryder had throughout the entire show of the entire movie Space Mutiny, as well as the other characters, needless to say, the names are pretty ridiculous, and we've had a really fun and hard time using them all tonight. So for your pleasure, Space Mutiny, the names of David Ryder.
Tell me, Dave.
Slab bulkhead.
Fridge, large meat.
Punt, speed chunk.
Butch deadlift. Bold big flank.
Splint, chest hair. Flint, iron stag.
Bolt Vanderhuge.
Thick McRunfast. We put our faith in blast hard cheese.
Buff drink lots.
Oh, slab. Oh, hunk. Oh, flink.
Let's get out there, kick some ass! Trunk, slam chest.
Fist rock bone.
Stump, beef knob.
Smash, lamp jaw.
Punch rock groin.
Buck, plank chest.
Stump junkman.
Dirk, hard peck.
Rip, steak face.
Slate slab rock.
Crud, bone meal.
Rip slag cheek.
Punch, side iron.
Gristle, McThorn body.
Slake fist crunch.
Buff, hardback.
Bob Johnson. Oh, wait. Blast, thick neck.
Crunch butt steak.
Slab, squat thrust.
Lump, beef broth.
Touch rust rod.
Reef, blast body. Big, McLarge, huge. Smoke, man muscle.
Eat punch beef.
Hack, blow fist.
Well, anyway, got that out of my system.
Roll, fizzle beef.
So hopefully you might have recognized some of those names. We tried to follow them and write them all down and live them with accuracy. But either way, like the law of the week every week, it brings us to the end of our show. As usual, you can reach us at our Twitter feed, which is almost_Friday. You can check out our website, almostfridayshow.com, or you can send us an email at contact@almostfridayshow.com if you want to tell us we're doing a terrible job or really like the law of the week that we picked this week, or other names that you think we should be called.
Yes, I like that one.
Either way, until next time, I'm Crud Bone Meal.
I'm Crunch Butt Steak.
And this is the Almost Friday Show.